Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging headfirst into a story that starts on what should be the absolute happiest day of a man's life, his wedding day.
But it unravels, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Quickly and, frankly, shockingly.
Oh, absolutely. Into this, meticulously planned con, a truly devastating family betrayal, and then this one man's incredible fight for justice.
Yeah, and we're not just scratching the surface. We're digging through, personal notes, firsthand accounts.
Right, things that pull back the curtain on a marriage that actually only lasted a single month. It reveals these layers of deceit that are, honestly, hard to believe.
It's a story that really forces you to rethink trust, especially within families, within marriage. What Daniel went through wasn't just heartbreak.
Yeah.
It was a complete, deliberate shattering of his reality, engineered by the people he loved most.
The very people he trusted implicitly.
Exactly. And it makes you ask, how do you possibly rebuild when your whole foundation has been sabotaged by the people who are supposed to be supporting you?
That's the core of it. So our mission today is to unpack every single twist, every turn of this incredible story. We want to understand Daniel's emotional journey, obviously.
And explore that resilience he found. Because he did find it, surprisingly.
He really did. So settle in, everyone, because the details we're about to get into are, they're quite something. Okay, let's set the scene. Picture Daniel, he's 30 years old, standing there at the altar. Palms are sweaty, that nervous excitement. His heart's pounding like crazy against his ribs. He probably thinks everyone can hear it.
Oh, yeah. Been there.
Right. But despite all those nerves, he's just completely captivated by Elena, his bride. They'd been together 2 years at this point.
And she looked amazing, apparently.
Stunning. Radiant in the white dress, a picture of joy, and her eyes are locked on his, like sparkling, making all these silent promises. Like he's the only guy in the world.
Right.
This is it, right? The culmination of 2 years of laughing, quiet moments, dreaming together, all leading to this huge day, their wedding.
And his brother's there too, Mark.
Mark, yeah. His brother and his best man standing right beside him, gives him a little nudge, it has this mischievous smile. And Mark whispers, loud enough for the front rows to chuckle, "You're a lucky man, Dan."
Oof.
And Daniel, in that moment, with every part of him, he truly, deeply believes it. He thinks he is the luckiest man alive.
And that's the thing, isn't it? In that one moment, he's entering this huge social contract. Marriage. It's meant to be this unspoken agreement, partnership, vulnerability, support.
Emery.
He thought he was stepping into this shared future based on loyalty, real affection, building a life together. It's the ultimate expression of trust in another person, especially your spouse.
Absolutely.
That's the foundation he's planning to build his whole future on, which just sets the stage for how utterly devastating the betrayal becomes. He thought they were a team, but he finds out very, very quickly just how alone he actually is.
And the reception. It was, by all accounts, perfect. Everything you'd imagine. Heartfelt toasts, lots of laughter, glasses clinking.
The whole 9 yards.
Exactly. Mark even grabs the mic, already a bit tipsy apparently, gives this loud speech about how Daniel was always the big brother who had everything. People laughed.
Right.
Elena's dancing close with Daniel, her body against his, laughing softly in his ear. It all just screams perfect beginning,
All the signs looks good.
Every single sign. He genuinely thought this was the real deal, something that would last forever. But then the shift, it was immediate, jarring.
Yeah.
That very night, they get back to their new home, a place Daniel bought for them, for their future.
Right.
They're exhausted, sure, but happy, anticipating, intimacy. He pulls her close.
As you would.
As you would. And she just abruptly pulls away, like a complete stop. Cold. It must have just knocked the wind out of him.
Yeah.
And then she says these words, her voice firm, cold, zero warmth. "Not tonight, Daniel. My body, my rules."
Well, on their wedding night. That is incredibly impactful and really disturbing. For Daniel, that's an immediate, confusing, just deeply unsettling shift in how things are supposed to work. Intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional closeness, vulnerability, wanting each other.
Yeah, connection.
Exactly. So a refusal like that, especially with that phrase, so definitive almost,
Yeah.
clinical, it starts chipping away at the trust, the expectations right away. It creates this instant power imbalance.
That phrase, "my body, my rules."
It became his mantra, etched in stone, he said. Because it was this wall, right? An absolute shutdown of the closeness, physical and emotional, that he thought was just a given in a marriage, an essential part. It's the first huge, undeniable red flag that something is seriously wrong.
And it really makes you think, doesn't it? put yourself in Daniel's shoes. If that happened to you on your wedding night, what would you think?
Oh, yeah. The confusion, the shock, that sudden feeling of being completely disconnected from the person you just promised your life to.
It's that feeling of being utterly alone in what should be the most shared moment.
Precisely.
And the worst part, the really agonizing part, it wasn't just that one night. It became this pattern, unbearable repetition.
Oh, no.
Night after night. He'd tentatively try to get close, reach for her hand, look for any spark in her eyes, try to bridge this gap that was growing between them. She'd shut down, arms crossed over her chest, refusing to meet his gaze. And those same words, those chilling words, my body, my rules.
Every single time.
Every time. He'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling in the dark, his mind just racing. Is it me? Did I do something wrong? Does she already regret this whole marriage?
That's torture.
He tried to talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
Gently asking if everything was okay, if he could help in any way.
And her response?
Always the same. I'm fine.
Short, curt, basically saying drop it. And right after she just bury herself in her phone, the screen lighting up her face late into the night, fingers just tapping away at messages.
See, totally. When he finally asked who she was talking to, she just snapped back, quick and emotionless. Work. He wanted to believe her. He really did. Tried to rationalize it. But every night just drove that seed of suspicion deeper.
That constant rejection, especially the emotional stonewalling, it takes a huge psychological toll. The lack of intimacy, her being so unavailable, those curt answers that breed self-doubt, anxiety, paranoia even.
Oh, for sure.
He's basically isolated in his own home, questioning everything his worth, his attractiveness, the reality of his brand new marriage.
Yeah.
And those short answers, I'm fine, work, they're so damaging because they shut down communication completely.
No way to connect.
No chance to understand, to resolve anything. So he's just left blaming himself, struggling alone. And her being on the phone late at night, tapping out messages with those quick, flat answers. It's not just secrecy, it's deliberately withholding. That plants the first really significant, undeniable seed of suspicion, not just for him, but for us listening right from the start.
Yeah, you feel it too.
It's the first clear sign something is deeply, deeply wrong here, more than just cold feet.
So as days turn into weeks, this distance just keeps growing. It becomes this huge chasm between them. And Daniel starts noticing other things, subtle shifts in her daily behavior. She'd leave for hours saying she was running errands.
Okay.
But she'd often come back empty-handed, no explanation for where she'd been for so long.
Suspicious.
And sometimes he'd catch her just out of the corner of his eye, giving her phone these little intimate smiles, like a tender look.
A smile she wasn't giving him.
Exactly. That warmth was completely gone from their interactions. At dinner, meals he often cooked, hoping for some connection. She'd barely touch her food, just push it on the plate.
Wow.
And if he asked, how was your day? He'd get these monosyllabic answers. A clipped, fine, maybe a shrug. Total disengagement.
These aren't huge, overt betrayals yet, but they are so insidious. It's that death by a thousand cuts effect, right?
Perfectly put.
Every vague answer, every secret trip out, every withheld smile, every unexplained absence, it just chips away relentlessly at his trust. It's the consistency of it all that really eats away at the foundation, creates this deep unease.
Yeah, something you can't quite name yet.
And what's really alarming, even this early, her interest in his finances, his money, his savings, his plans for his construction company.
Right, he mentioned that. She was asking a lot.
Yeah, and she'd brush it off, just curious. But he felt like she was cataloging him, taking inventory. That early, almost clinical financial focus is a massive red flag. It suggests her reasons for marrying him might go way beyond love or partnership.
Hinting at something much darker.
Something transactional, predatory even.
And then, as if things weren't confusing enough, his brother Mark starts showing up more. A lot more.
The best man.
The best man. His own brother. It wasn't just occasional visits. Mark was just always there. Now, Daniel had given him a good job a year before. Project manager at his company, good salary, a real helping hand.
Okay, so he owed Daniel, in a way.
You'd think. But now, Mark's showing up unannounced, claiming it's about work, but then he just grabs a beer from Daniel's fridge, flops on the couch.
Makes himself at home.
Totally. And starts subtly but persistently steering the conversation. Always with this weird smirk, a look Daniel couldn't figure out. He'd ask, "So how's your wife treating you?"
Whoa. Bold.
Right. And later pushing more, "Is she happy? Is she giving you a hard time about anything?" And he'd watch Daniel's reaction really closely, like scanning his face, then shake his head like he knew something.
That's uncomfortable.
Daniel tried to ignore it, rationalize it. Maybe he's just being protective. Our brothers and sisters-in-law get along. It's fine. But this doubt, this unsettling feeling, it was growing, like a thorn he couldn't remove.
This dynamic with Mark is really complex and disturbing. His showing up more, asking these overly casual but pointed questions, combined with that constant nonchalant smile. It's jarring.
Yeah, the smile is weird.
While Daniel's trying to brush it off, Mark's persistence about Elena specifically, and how he's watching Daniel's reactions so carefully, it starts forming this disturbing pattern. It feels like Mark is probing, testing the waters, or even subtly trying to gaslight Daniel, maybe. Make him doubt his own perception of Elena's behavior. This is where it shifts, I think. From Daniel's internal doubts he's trying to dismiss to actual external red flags, something more collaborative might be going on.
Yeah, it feels like it's moving beyond just a troubled marriage.
It feels like potential triangulation, a third party actively undermining the relationship.
And then came the money conversation. That really nailed the unease for Daniel.
Yes.
One morning, Mark brings up Daniel's finances directly, just casually, over coffee. Business still doing well, Dan, making good money. Daniel confirms, yeah, it's thriving.
Okay.
Then Mark, with that same annoying smirk, says, ever thought about selling? Got enough money now, could live comfortably, retire early. Daniel's like, why would I do that? It's my passion. And Mark just waves it off, just saying, maybe Elena would like a more comfortable life, less construction dust.
Wow. Connecting it directly to Elena.
Exactly. Daniel tried to ignore it, thought maybe Mark was just envious. He'd always kind of wanted what Daniel had. He still couldn't let himself see the huge red flags waving right in his face.
That conversation is absolutely critical. Mark isn't just making small talk. He's suggesting a massive financial change, specifically framed around Elena's supposed comfort.
Yeah, it's blatant when you look back.
Totally. Given Elena's earlier cataloging and probing about assets, Mark's suggestion sounds suspiciously like pushing Daniel towards something that gives Elena easier access to his wealth. It aligns perfectly with her hidden agenda.
Even though Daniel tried to dismiss it?
Yeah, his loyalty probably blinded him, but it clearly planted that seed about financial motivation, even if he couldn't fully accept the darker implications about his own brother.
But then came the moment he couldn't ignore, the undeniable proof. That same night, after dinner, Elena leaves her phone in the kitchen while she showers. The screen lights up. A message. Daniel knows he shouldn't look, feels like scum violating trust, even though he suspects it's already broken.
But he has to know.
He has to know. Curiosity, the desperate need for answers, it wins. The message is from M, just 2 words. Everything's ready.
Chilling.
His heart just starts hammering. Could be anyone. Michael, Maria. But his gut, that instinct that's been screaming at him, it gives him one name. Mark.
That everything's ready text.
Yeah.
That's the concrete evidence. It shatters any remaining doubt. It pushes him to act.
Totally.
It implies pre-planning a deeper scheme, more than just an affair. It suggests collaboration, a prepared con.
Yeah, ready for what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Daniel's struggle, I shouldn't have looked, versus curiosity 1, just highlights how broken his trust is, how desperate he is for answers. It's not just about a potential affair anymore. It's about a calculated plot involving his wife and, crucially, his brother.
This is the point of no return.
Absolutely. He can't ignore the betrayal now. It's moved from a feeling to an actual actionable threat.
So, needing undeniable proof he did something he never thought he'd do, still feeling like a scumbag, he logged into their shared phone account.
Okay, the records.
And there it was. Cold, hard data. An irrefutable list of his worst fears realized. Dozens, hundreds of calls to Mark's number.
Oh my God.
Some an hour long or more. Mostly late at night when Daniel was asleep or during the day when he was at work. His hands were shaking so badly printing the list, the paper was rattling.
I can only imagine.
This wasn't a hunch anymore. This was it, the brutal truth.
The emotional impact of seeing that cold data,
Yeah.
it must be crushing. It takes all those suspicions, the paranoia, and makes them concrete. Undeniable betrayal.
Transforms everything.
That shift from doubt to knowing is brutal. It forces him to face this grim reality. And the sheer volume of calls, the timing, it screams deliberate, calculated, ongoing deception.
Not a mistake.
Not a mistake. No room left for denial or rationalization.
Yeah.
His world just shifted from a troubled marriage to a meticulously planned fraud.
And from that data, that crushing proof, he needed to see it himself. He moved to direct observation, seeking that final, undeniable confirmation.
You needed visual proof.
Yeah. It all came to a head about a week later. Elena says she's meeting a friend for drinks after work, leaves in a hurry, seems almost frantic.
Okay.
Daniel waits 10 minutes, gives her a head start, then, heart-pounding, he follows her. Drives slowly, keeping his distance, tailing her through the city.
This must have been nerve-wracking.
Totally. She doesn't go to a bar, though. She parks in this dark, unlit park on the outskirts of town. Really secluded.
Sketchy.
Daniel stops a block away, cuts his lights, watches her get out. And that's when he sees him, Mark, getting out of his pickup truck, hands in his pockets, walking towards Elena. Daniel said his heart just stopped, then jolted back painfully. She walks towards Mark, and before Daniel can even process the horror, they're embracing.
Oh, God.
A deep, desperate kiss, he described it, as if they had done it 100 times before. That kiss, like a knife twisting slowly in his back.
That is the shattering moment, the absolute catastrophe. It's not just his wife, it's his brother.
The double betrayal.
It's not just an affair. This signifies something so much deeper, more calculated, more ruthless. That image, the knife in the back, twisted slowly, it captures that visceral pain, the shock, the violation.
You feel it just hearing it.
It reveals their characters, doesn't it, Elena and Mark? Their duplicity, their complete lack of a moral compass, their willingness to exploit Daniel's trust, his love for their own ends. Imagine that scene burned into your mind, your closest family conspiring against you in the most intimate, cool way.
It's total annihilation of trust.
Exactly. It reverberates through every single part of his life.
After seeing that in the park, Daniel didn't break down. No tears, no screaming, just this chilling calm took over. A laser focus.
Survival mode kicks in.
Yeah. He drove home, that image seared into his brain. Elena's hands on Mark, her smiling at him, a smile Daniel hadn't seen in weeks. He didn't know the full plan yet, but he knew one thing. He wasn't the blind fool anymore, and they were going to regret underestimating him.
Game on.
Big time. The next morning, while Elena's asleep, oblivious, he goes straight to his home office. He has the call logs. Now he digs into bank records.
Following the money?
Yep. Unexplained withdrawals from his personal account tied to her debit card. Small at first, then bigger and bigger amounts. She was clearly siphoning money, covering her tracks with vague receipts, a deliberate effort to hide the theft.
Wow.
And then he finds the ultimate proof. Messages synced to the cloud, dating from before the wedding, laying bare the whole premeditated scheme.
What did they say?
One from Mark before they even got married. He's rich, just hang in there, it'll all be worth it. And Elena's reply, I'm going to take everything I can. The cash cow is naive.
Cash cow. Oh my God. That transforms this from betrayal into straight up undeniable fraud.
Absolutely.
It wasn't a love affair gone wrong. It was a premeditated con from the start, designed to exploit him financially. The cold calculation in those texts, calling him a cash cow, naive, it shows zero empathy, just pure financial gain, malicious intent.
And the siphoning money proves it was ongoing.
A deliberate, calculated effort to exploit him. It paints this picture of two people who saw him as just a resource to be plundered. No regard for his feelings, his trust, nothing. This is clear material misrepresentation, fraud. The marriage itself was a lie.
So, with this overwhelming, undeniable proof, Daniel didn't wait. He acted decisively, fueled by this quiet, simmering rage.
Understandable.
That afternoon, he calls Greg his lawyer. The same lawyer who, ironically, drafted the prenup Elena had reluctantly signed months before.
The irony.
Right. Daniel told Greg straight up, I want to annul this marriage. She married me under false pretenses. This is fraud, Greg.
And Greg's reaction.
Immediate confirmation. We have a case. Give me everything. Messages, photos, all of it. So Daniel spends the next 2 days just gathering every single shred of proof.
Building the case.
Pictures of Elena's phone screen when she left it unlocked, showing Mark's name with a heart emoji next to it. He even hired a PI quietly for more photos of them together. Undeniable proof. Every piece fitting into this horrible puzzle he wished he'd never had to solve.
His methodical approach here is so smart. Strategically crucial. Instead of confronting them right away, which could have made them destroy evidence.
Right. He held his hand.
Exactly. He let them think they were still in control while he built this airtight legal case. Gathering objective, verifiable proof. It shows his strength, his determination.
He wasn't just proving infidelity.
No, he was proving systemic, premeditated fraud, which is legally much stronger. An annulment declares the marriage void from the start, like it never legally happened. Crucial for invalidating her claims and protecting his assets.
His control in that moment is impressive.
It's a testament to his shift, from passive victim to someone actively strategically fighting for justice.
Elena, though, she started sensing something was wrong. Even with Daniel being quiet, he wasn't confronting her, just kept this chilling distance.
She felt the shift.
Yeah, she'd catch him staring, ask, "What's your problem?" He'd just shrug, say nothing. She got nervous, started packing for a fake weekend away. Daniel knew, but let her think she still had time.
Let her walk into it.
Then the papers were served. Greg had them delivered right to the house. Cold, official knock on the door. Shattered her illusion. Daniel wasn't there. Didn't want to see the fake tears.
That move.
She called him moments later, screaming fury into the phone. "You can't do this. You can't annul our marriage." Daniel just quietly hung up.
Wow.
Then, the next day, her counterattack. She files her own lawsuit, demanding alimony, claiming he forced her into the marriage, that she deserved a huge chunk of his company.
That is audacious. Playing the victim after everything.
Totally flipping the script.
It's a classic manipulative tactic, isn't it? Projecting her deceit onto him to control the narrative. It shows her desperation, but also how far she's willing to go. Perjury, fabrication.
That's the stage for a major battle.
Absolutely. He now has to not only prove the fraud, but dismantle her entire fake victim story.
And the fallout didn't stop there. It spilled right into his business, turned his workplace into a minefield. Mark walks into the office Monday morning, acting like nothing happened. Throws a folder on Daniel's desk, casual smile. "Project updates, Dan. Need to discuss the timeline."
The nerve.
Daniel just looked at him. Saw his little brother, the guy he'd helped so much. But now, just a stranger. An opportunist. "You're fired, Mark," he said. Cold, firm, no emotion.
Boom.
Mark's smile just vanished. Stunned disbelief. "Dan, what is this? You can't fire me." Daniel stood up, walked over, leaned in, whispered, chillingly calm. "I saw you two. Get your things. You're done here. Don't ever set foot on my property again." Mark went pale, then red with anger. Started sputtering denials. "It's not what you think." Daniel cut him off. "Save it for someone who cares, Mark, because I don't." Mark just kind of deflated, gathered his stuff, muttered, and left. Silence.
The emotional weight of firing your own brother. Immense. But it signifies Daniel taking absolute control.
Unnecessary step.
Absolutely. It's not just professional. It's a statement about boundaries, integrity, justice. He's refusing to tolerate the betrayal any longer, regardless of blood ties. It shows his transformation, his resolve.
But the real gut punch, emotionally, was the family dinner that weekend. His mother calls, voice strained. Time to sort things out.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
Daniel should have known it was a trap, but that tiny sliver of hope for his old family. He walked right into it. He arrives, and there they are, Elena and Mark, sitting at the dining table like it's just another Sunday dinner.
Unbelievable.
His mother rushes over, hands clasped, voice trembling. "Daniel, son, you need to fix this. They told me everything. It was a mistake, a misunderstanding, just a game that went wrong."
A game.
Daniel just looked at her, then at them. Elena avoiding his eyes, Mark with that infuriating smirk still plastered on his face. "A mistake," Daniel asks slowly, a bitter laugh escaping. "A mistake. Stealing from me, taking my wife, trying to take my money. Is that your definition of a mistake, Mother?"
Good for him, calling it out.
His mother flinched. "He's your brother, Daniel. Blood." His voice rose then, cutting her off. "He's not my brother. He's a parasite, a leech." He pointed at Elena. "And she's an opportunist who never loved me."
Wow.
Elena jumped up, furious, but Mark grabbed her arm. Mark muttered, "Dan, let's talk like adults." Daniel stepped towards Mark, eyes burning. "You say nothing, you get nothing. Not my money, not my trust, not my name. You are dead to me." Then he turned to his mother, his voice cracking with pain. "You're choosing his side. Fine, then you're out too."
Cutting off his mother, that's huge.
She gasped, face crumpling, but Daniel just turned and walked out, left them calling after him.
That is a key moment of rupture. The mother choosing to side with them, enabling them, invalidating Daniel's pain. It's devastating. Minimizing fraud and betrayal as just a game gone wrong is textbook avoidance.
She couldn't face the truth about Mark.
Exactly. And Daniel's decision to cut her off, "You're out too," is incredibly courageous. He's choosing his well-being, his integrity, over that toxic family obligation. It really makes you think, right, how do you handle family loyalty when it clashes so violently with moral betrayal?
He chose integrity, even if it meant losing his family as he knew it.
A profound act of self-preservation and a testament to his commitment to his own truth.
So the court case, it moved pretty quickly. Elena's lawyer tried everything, very theatrical, painted her as this poor, vulnerable woman trapped in an oppressive marriage.
Standard playbook, unfortunately.
But Greg, Daniel's lawyer, was ready. He just systematically demolished her story. Cold, hard evidence.
The texts, the photos.
Yep, the pre-wedding texts, the photos of her and Mark, the prenup she signed. Greg's argument was simple. This marriage was a sham, Your Honor. Fraud. She chose him for his money.
And the judge.
Agreed, swiftly. Annulment granted. No alimony, not a single penny. Elena shot Daniel this look. Pure venom, a death glare as she stormed out. Mark just trailed behind her, shoulders slumped like a beaten dog.
Wow. Justice served, legally anyway.
Daniel watched them go. Didn't feel triumphant right away. More empty. But underneath, this growing feeling of being finally free.
That legal victory is huge, formal closure. But that feeling, empty but free, shows the emotional wounds are still there, right?
Yeah.
Legal justice is one thing, healing is another journey.
Definitely.
But it underscores this wasn't just about money. It was about the truth of the deception, reclaiming his narrative, his dignity. The annulment wasn't just a financial win. It was a public affirmation that he was right. The marriage was a fraud from the start.
The legal win was crucial, but the personal war just moved online. Elena immediately counterattacked on social media.
Of course she did.
A day later, Daniel's phone blows up with notifications, her public posts, playing the victim, tearful profile pics, hashtags about injustice, claims like, trapped in a loveless marriage, he controlled me, took everything, forced into this. Strangers started calling Daniel a monster online. Even some old acquaintances started questioning him. Then Mark jumps in, replying to her posts. He was always a selfish bastard. You deserved better, Elena. Fanning the flame.
Oh, the audacity.
Yeah.
This shows the power and danger of social media, right?
Yeah.
She weaponizes it, tries to manipulate public opinion, turn Daniel into the villain.
And Mark just piles on.
Confirming their collusion.
Yeah.
But Daniel's countermove, that was brilliant. Simple, factual, devastating.
He knew what he had, those pre-wedding texts. He's rich, just hang in there. The cash cow is naive.
Oof, the smoking gun.
He calmly goes onto his own social media, posts the unedited screenshots of those texts with just one sentence. The truth hurt.
Perfect. No drama, just facts.
Exactly. The tide turned instantly. Her followers went silent or started questioning her. Her friends vanished. But he didn't stop there. He knew the potential professional damage. He sent carefully worded emails to key clients, business contacts. Attached the same proof. Kept it factual. Just clarifying facts surrounding recent public allegations. The truth spread like wildfire. Her victim act just crumbled. Mark's charm dissolved. They were exposed.
That is a masterclass in strategic information sharing, using facts to dismantle lies. He doesn't sink to their level. He uses undeniable evidence.
Protects his reputation, too.
Totally. And it works. His business stays stable, clients stick by him, profits are fine. It highlights how resilience and truth can win, even against public defamation. It shows the value of strong, honest foundations, unlike the deceitful ones he escaped.
Mark, though, still desperate, tried one last thing. Tried to hit the business directly. Started trying to turn Daniel's crew against him.
Yeah.
Hanging around job sites, talking trash about Daniel, saying he was fired for no reason, trying to get them to walk out.
Desperate.
But Pete, the site foreman, totally loyal, gave Daniel a heads up immediately. And the crew, they knew Daniel. They stayed loyal. Nobody took the bait, Daniel said.
Loyalty earned.
And Sarah, his office manager, sharp as a tack, he called her. Been with him 5 years. Never liked Mark. She took initiative. Discreetly told suppliers, subcontractors about Mark's sabotage attempts. Made him radioactive in town. Couldn't find work.
Wow. Sarah sounds amazing. This shows the importance of those trusted relationships, right? Unlike the family betrayal, he found support and integrity with his team.
Huge contrast.
Sarah embodies that loyalty and professionalism. Her actions ensure Mark faces real consequences, professional, social. It highlights the value of relationships built on respect and honesty. They're far more resilient. It says a lot about Daniel's leadership, too.
Despite all these wins, Daniel wasn't naive. He knew them, knew their desperation. And sure enough, late one night, phone buzzes. Unknown number.
Oh, boy.
The message, you're gonna regret this. Just that. Chilling.
How did he react?
Calmly. Heart steady. He thought about past regrets, trusting Elena, hiring Mark, believing his mom. But this feeling now, making them pay, that wasn't regret, he thought. That was justice. He didn't reply, just forwarded it to Greg. Keep this.
That's a huge psychological shift. From victim to empowered. He doesn't fear them. He's ready.
Exactly.
He's moved beyond the emotional turmoil into this clear-eyed readiness. Forwarding the message shows proactive defense, not paranoia. He knows they might escalate, and he's prepared. He's controlling the narrative now.
And it didn't take long. A week later, Greg calls. Elena filed another complaint. This one was wild, claiming Daniel forced her to sign the prenup, and she had proof.
Proof after everything.
He gets this. Edited photos, cleverly doctored pictures of Daniel supposedly screaming, grabbing her arm. Fake, but disturbingly convincing, Daniel said. Plus her sworn testimony, full of fabricated threats and intimidation.
That is just depraved, using doctored evidence. Complete disregard for truth, for justice. Shows how desperate she is.
Daniel's blood boiled, but he stayed calm. Greg was confident. Don't worry, we're gonna bury her. This is just a desperate Hail Mary.
And Greg's strategy?
Brilliant. Simple. Truth. Presented the photo metadata proving they were altered. Reintroduced the original cash cow text showing her intent. Had Daniel give simple, powerful, credible testimony.
Let the facts speak.
Exactly. The outcome. Motion denied. Case dismissed. Elena's face apparently twisted in rage as she stormed out. Utterly defeated, Daniel just left. Quiet victory. Free for good, he felt.
Even the most elaborate lies crumble against irrefutable truth. A definitive legal end.
That same night, guess who shows up on Daniel's porch?
Mark.
Mark. Hands raised like he's surrendering. Shoulders slumped. Looked broken. Apparently lost his job. Elena dumped him. His mother was crying constantly.
Consequences finally hitting home.
He starts talking. Voice raw. Self-pity mixed with misery. I messed everything up, Dan. I'm so sorry. Please, you're my brother.
What did Daniel do?
Looked him straight in the eye. No more false hope. You stopped being my brother the day you chose her over me, Daniel said, quiet but firm. You don't deserve a second chance to betray me again. I learned my lesson.
Wow. Firm boundary.
Mark just stumbled back, defeated. Daniel's final words, get off my property, now. That sibling relationship, over, done, irrevocably severed.
That's the definitive end. Mark's plea sounds like self-pity, not real remorse. Daniel refusing to be manipulated again, refusing to bail him out. That's powerful self-preservation.
He learned the difference.
Between a superficial apology and true accountability, he's choosing to protect himself. Not about anger anymore, just clear, necessary boundaries for his own peace.
The next day, one last thing. A handwritten letter from his mother.
Oh, Lord.
2 pages, emotional scrawl full of guilt and pleas. You're breaking my heart, Daniel. He's your blood. We're a family. Fix this.
Still blaming him. Still choosing Mark's side.
Daniel read it once. Recognized the same old pattern, her refusing to see Mark's culpability, blaming Daniel for the chaos they caused.
What did he do with it?
Took the letter, walked to the kitchen sink, struck a match. Held the flame to the corner, watched the words curl and blacken into ash.
Wow. Symbolic.
His conviction was clear. A family doesn't betray you, steal from you, lie about you, and then demand forgiveness as an entitlement, he thought. I was done carrying that burden.
That burning. It's the final severing of those toxic ties. It's not about spite. It's about reclaiming his peace, his freedom from that cycle of manipulation and guilt.
Choosing himself.
Choosing self-worth, integrity, genuine connection over inherited obligation. It's the culmination of his healing, closing that chapter. A true act of self-liberation.
So, with the past finally behind him, Daniel focused on what was strong, what had proven true, his business, and Sarah, his office manager,
The loyal one?
she was instrumental, a quiet force of stability, ran everything like a well-oiled machine, kept the team together, morale high. One morning, she brings him coffee. No pity, just honesty. You're doing good work, boss, she said simply.
Simple, genuine support.
Daniel nodded, so grateful for her unwavering support, her quiet strength.
That stable foundation, reliable support. It's crucial during recovery from trauma like this. Sarah is such a contrast to the betrayals. She embodies loyalty, integrity, professionalism.
The lifeline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Her presence allowed Daniel to focus on rebuilding himself, knowing his professional life was secure. It shows that true strength often comes from the relationships you choose to cultivate.
And from that stability, that support, a little glimmer of hope started. Daniel found himself looking at Sarah differently. Not just as a colleague, saw her as a person. Smart, reliable, incredibly kind, he thought. Someone who stood by him when everything else crumbled.
Someone trustworthy.
Maybe it was too soon, maybe just a fragile start, but the thought stuck. Took a deep breath, found some courage, asked her out for a drink after work. She smiled, a genuine warm smile, and said yes. A quiet triumph after so much darkness.
That's a subtle but really significant moment. It's not a magic fix, but a start, right?
Yeah, just a start.
After that level of betrayal, the courage it takes to be vulnerable again, to reach out, risk rejection, it's huge. It shows he's willing to try connecting again, but this time with someone who's proven their integrity.
Earn trust.
Exactly. It's a quiet sign of his healing, his renewed capacity for genuine connection based on respect, not naive hope.
The final piece of his healing came about a week later. He drove to his old thinking spot high up, overlooking the city.
Getting perspective.
Stood there, hands in pockets, cool air, just reflecting on everything. He listed his losses quietly. Elena's fake love, Mark's loyalty, my mother's blind faith. Acknowledged the deep hurt, the emptiness.
Facing it all.
But his final conclusion, spoken softly to the city lights, was powerful. But I had fought back. I had reclaimed my life. I had taken back all their power over me. His voice got stronger. My business was mine, stronger than ever. My life was mine. No strings attached. No more parasites. No more lies.
That is the core aha moment, isn't it? The deep dive's revelation. He sees his transformation, acknowledges the pain, but pivots to the truth of his resilience.
He's different now.
He's no longer naive, hopeful, blind. He's tougher, clear-eyed, and solid. He realized that despite it all, he made a conscious choice to bet on himself, prioritize his own integrity. And he won.
Not just legally.
Not just legally or financially. He reclaimed his autonomy, his identity, his peace. It's such a powerful message of resilience, self-empowerment, reclaiming your life even after the worst betrayals.
So we've seen how one man's world was just completely upended by this calculated, layered betrayal. Not just a spouse, but family, blood.
Yeah, we witnessed that agonizing process, digging up lies, fighting for truth, in court, in public.
And ultimately finding this incredible strength in self-reliance in his own integrity. Daniel's story really reminds you that true strength isn't just surviving, it's deciding your own worth, separate from those who tried to tear you down.
And his story really makes you wonder, doesn't it? When the people closest to you become your enemies, when trust is shattered like that, what does winning truly mean?
Is it just the legal victory, getting your money back?
Or is it something much bigger? The courage to cut away what's toxic, even if it's family. To redraw your boundaries and build a future based on your own integrity, your own peace. It's a profound question about loyalty and the real cost of freedom.
This deep dive definitely leaves you with a lot to think about. Trust, resilience, the real meaning of loyalty when deceit can hide so close.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep digging, keep questioning, and keep exploring these fascinating, sometimes challenging parts of the human experience.